What's up, Australia? Finally, we are here in Melbourne. Thank you for coming today, media, fans, everybody. We appreciate it very much. So, first of all, I want to thank the Etihad. This arena, you know, we've been doing this for a very long time. We've been traveling all over the world. This arena has been amazing to us. These guys have been awesome. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate all your support and help in getting the first UFC here in Melbourne. We recently had the, thank you. We recently had the Go Big, basically laying out our season coming up here over the next several months, and nothing is bigger than this. We've been waiting for a very long time to come to a stadium, 70,000 seats here, and we're very excited about it. The other thing that's never been done, it's never been done with women as the main and co-main event. In the history of combat sports, this has never been done. So I want to thank the local fighters, Jake, Daniel, and Richie here. These guys are here. We appreciate you. And they will be fighting on 193 also. They'll be here for questions from the media. So this event takes place Sunday, November 15th here at Etihad Stadium. And tickets go on sale to the public Monday, September 21st. Monday, September 21st to the public. So let's get this thing rolling. Let's introduce the people you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, she's never been beaten in the UFC. She is the challenger, Valerie Letourneau. And the reigning, defending 115-pound women's champion, Joanna Jedrzejczyk. And now let's take a look at the main event. The challenger, undefeated 9-0, Holm. And the reigning, defending 135-pound champion, the biggest rock star we've ever had in the UFC, Ronda Rousey. All right. Oh, who has the first question?
Dana.
Yep.
G'day, Dana. Alex Oates here from News Corp. Just got a quick question. You've been to Brisbane, you've been to Adelaide, and now you're here in Melbourne with a pay-per-view event. This is a bit disturbing here. Is this just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the UFC in Australia?
Yeah, you know, this has been a an amazing market for us since our first fight, you know, in Australia. Continues to grow, and yeah, this has been amazing for us. So it's good to finally be here. A couple other places to knock off in this country, and then I say you know, we've done it all here.
What are your thoughts on the stadium?
You know, I'm optimistic that we can fill this stadium, and or we wouldn't have done it. I mean, that's why we did it. We came here. We obviously had options, and like I started this press conference off, the people at this arena are amazing. They've been so great to work with. It's already been an amazing experience, and we just got started. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Hi, Dana. Silvio Morelli from Fight Magazine. Great to see you.
Good to see
back
you,
in
sir.
Australia again.
Thank you.
It's often said that the UFC is the fastest growing sport in the world. And it seems as UFC is now being held internationally on a regular basis, almost monthly. Tell us about how the UFC's evolved and from the early days, and what's in store, what's your long-term vision for it?
Well, we've evolved a lot since the early days, but, you know, as we continue to, you know, to grow and to do all the things, we go into these new markets like Melbourne, and we're going to Korea for the first time this year, and many other places. We were just in the Philippines, and we continue to open up these new markets. And, you know, one thing that always happens after we leave is sort of an explosion, and you know, I think you're going to see more schools opening up here in Melbourne, and more people training, and I mean, we're just going to keep putting our head down, moving forward, and going to places we've never been. Thank you, sir.
Adam Kaplan for Croc Media. Firstly, Ronda, welcome to Australia. This year's been absolutely massive for you. Not only have you defended your title a couple of times, you were in the Entourage film. Most recently, you You're Saying Do Nothing Bitch was featured in the Beyonce concert. Do you ever wonder what's left for you to actually accomplish in your MMA career?
What was my what?
Do you ever wonder what's left for you to actually accomplish?
What's left?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, hi, Melbourne. Well, what's left to accomplish is we're going to beat that attendance record, and I really believe that the Aussies are the one people in the whole world that appreciate a fight well enough to be able to make history and break that record.
And this one's for... Next question's for Joanna Jedrzejczyk. How did that go, firstly?
Hi, how are you doing?
So you were supposed to provide Claudia Gadelha in January. Were you disappointed when she got injured?
No, I am a champion and I cannot wait for challengers, you know what I mean? So I'm very happy that I'm gonna fight in Australia on UFC 193, and I'm happy that I'm gonna fight with Valerie, that's all.
Just another quick one for Ronda as well. Just down here, over here, waving. Hey, we just saw a clip of you before where you mentioned that it was Holly that you wanted to fight next. I'm just wondering if you can tell us a little bit about what it is about Holly that makes you want to fight her so much, and also what makes you so confident that you can win.
Well, what makes me so confident that I can win is I'm the greatest fighter in the world. I truly believe it. What makes Holly such an intriguing challenger for me is I've been watching her since the day she started MMA. I've known that our paths are going to cross at some point. I know that if there's a 19-time boxing world champion coming into my sport, I have my eye on her. And since day one, I've been watching her. She's been undefeated to this point. She's been really impressive with how she's adapted to MMA and gone from just pure boxing to head kick knockouts and seeing how she's come into the UFC. I know that she's the type of fighter that I want to test myself against. And I want to show the world why I am the best. And I still have more to prove, and Holly is one more person that I want to prove myself against.
Nick Etchells from the 7 Network. Dana, first question for you. We're standing here in front of 4 women headlining a UFC event. It's massive. How big is that for you, and how big a part has Ronda played in coming to this position?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. This whole women's power movement that's going on right now is crazy. You know, Ronda has been the whole thing. I mean, Ronda is the one who launched this whole thing. I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for Ronda. She was the one that convinced me to do it, and it's the best decision I've ever made. I mean, we're sitting here in Melbourne, Australia, with the main event and co-main event are women, with a possible 70,000, you know, seat arena sellout. It's never been done in the history of combat sports, and it's awesome. It's powerful. It's cool. I'm really glad to be a part of it.
Ronda, I mean, you just heard that. That was not so long ago. You were a penniless judoka, and here you're headlining this. You're in the movies, and you built this. How huge has that journey been? Can you wrap your head around it?
There's only like little brief windows of time where I get to wrap my head around things, and that's right after I win. So I'm not going to wrap my head around it again until after I beat Holly, and I'm standing right over there. And hopefully every single face here, I'll be looking back at you guys again, and we're going to take it all in together.
Holly. Hi. You've been very quiet there. Boxing background, stand-up fighting. That's your forte. What about your grappling game?
You know, I do have a background in boxing, but it's just there's so much more to MMA than that. And as much as I am so blessed and I love my career in boxing, it's still very different. I mean, there's a lot of things in boxing, habits in boxing that I had to let go of coming into MMA. And my drive is not something that I look back and think, oh, well, you know, I've done this in boxing, so I can do this here. Mentally, and a lot of things that I've gone through with fighting, you know, some of the best, you know, in the world in boxing has helped me, you know, build that confidence and be able to deal with, you know, just coming in as an underdog, coming in with everything that I have. You know, I need to come and prove myself. And so that has helped me the most, I'd have to say, mentally. And physically, as far as just training hard. I mean, I've really learned how to work hard and really shoot for a goal. But other than that, I mean, MMA is so different than boxing. And that is why I've been trying to really expand my game. And that's what's been so awesome about this ride with MMA. And I want to be the first person, not just female, but male or female, to be able to have a title in both boxing and MMA. That's a ton of drive for me.
Dennis Scurado here from Submission Radio. Dana, a question to you. I have to ask you about the biggest rumor about this card. You're not going to like this question, but Fedor, is there any chance he might be added to this card? I had to ask it.
He'd be here.
Okay, fair enough. We'll take what we can from that. Now, Ronda, obviously Holly's known for her striking. Edmund's been on our show a number of times, and he's discussed how much of a great boxer you are and how you spar the best of the best. How do you feel about her striking going into this fight? How much of a challenge will it be for you?
It'll definitely be the biggest challenge yet. Holly's not the kind of person that I could really come at right away. The other girls I fought before, they don't have the kind of footwork and movement that Holly has. They weren't counter punchers, so I knew that if I came right in their face right away, oh, that sounded terrible. If oh my God. Not right away, I'd take my time, okay? But you know what I mean. If I came right, how do I say this right now? Well, rephrasing, I can't really be aggressive right away. And because Holly's a counterpuncher and she has a reach advantage on me, and she's the kind of person that I have to be a lot more careful with and a lot more methodical and set things up. That being said, she's a 19-time boxing world champion, not MMA world champion, and I believe that I'm better than every other girl in every area of MMA. MMA striking is different, and I think I'm the best at it.
Wonderful. And Holly, just a question to you. Looking back at all the previous fights that Ronda has had, there's been some dominant performances. What can you take away from those fights? What are a couple of things that stand out to you that you're going to try and avoid coming into your fight at UFC 193?
Well, as far as Ronda's performances, not just some of them have been impressive, all of them have been impressive. So, I mean, nobody can argue with that. Styles make a difference. There's not a lot of footage of film to watch on her, so that's a challenge for us, right? When you have like 3 fights equaling to like 1 minute, so you know you don't have a ton of film to look at. But that's why I really put a lot of faith and a lot of trust in my coaches that are really, really masterminds at putting together a great game plan.
Just a follow-up question, Holly, on that. You're in a video, you said that everyone asks, you know, do you think you can beat Ronda? And you said, well, I signed the contract. How do you beat her?
Number one thing is to just take it day by day and learn as I go. Every day that I train is a day in the books. Every training camp, I always say I'm almost more nervous the day I find out about a fight than I do at the end of a training camp, because at the end of the training camp you already feel like a sense of accomplishment to the fact that you've put in hard work. So I know that, you know, going into this we have a lot of work to do. I have a whole training camp ahead of me. I want to really, really take in everything that my coaches have. I have great sparring partners, and everybody is beatable in this world, not just this sport. So I just really want to take it step by step, and I don't want to get so fixated on one way that I think the fight's going to go, because I don't feel like you're able to mentally be able to make those changes. I want to be able to take the fight as it goes, and you know, make the best of the moments while I'm in there.
Adam, Nova Entertainment Radio. Question for Ronda. Was there any hesitation, I guess, bringing the fight forward 2 months to November, or was the opportunity to fight here in Australia too good to turn up?
Dana didn't even finish asking me the question before I said, and he's like, so this thing in Australia? Yes, like that's how, that's how the conversation went. And yeah, I'm so excited. I'm happier that it's here in Australia than in Vegas, to be honest. Really, I am. And yeah, I think that everything is meant to be, and I'm meant to defend my title like on this soil in front of these people. And it's the one thing I'm looking forward to the most in the world right now.
Just listening to both you and Holly here today, it sounds like there's some real mutual respect between the pair of you. Is that refreshing for you coming into this fight, I guess, considering what happened with Betch Kohaya and your rivalry with Miesha Tate?
It is tiring fighting a bitch. It really is. It really is. Like, I mean, it helps. It's cool every once in a while, but it's nice to have, you know, like a little time off from it. And, you know, Holly's an awesome chick. She's an amazing competitor. I mean, when I come in to fight, it's for real, and I'm going to beat you, and that's the way it is. But, you know, as an athlete, I couldn't have more respect for her. And it is a little bit of a relief sometimes.
A couple of questions for Holly. When Ronda made the statement that she's the greatest fighter alive, a bit of a wry smile from you. What do you think when you hear her say comments like that?
To this day, she's made that true. Things can change, and that's my plan. There's no denying she's not been called the most dominant athlete or the most dominant, you know, female fighter. She's the most dominant female athlete when you're on that stage, and she's been able to really prove that she can get in there and make it happen. And it's not a lucky fight, it's not a lucky punch. She's done it time and time again. So she's very skilled and she's very good. So and in order to be in that position, and in order to get there, you have to have confidence in yourself. So I expect her to say every bit of that. I respect her for feeling confident.
And considering all your boxing titles, would it still be fair to say this is your biggest fight ever?
Absolutely. Every fight in front of me is the biggest fight of my life. I feel like I'm training for it as it's the last fight of my life, because if I don't do well with this, then what other opportunities are really going to produce? So I always see this and treat it as it's the biggest, baddest, best, and I mean, not just in my mind, but obviously it is here. I mean, the amount of people and being up for this title against the most dominant fighter out there, it's the biggest thing ever, absolutely.
Sorry, one last question for Ronda. I just saw recently you beat Serena Williams in the ESPN Bracket Challenge. What do you think the fact that, I mean, it's I guess all a bit of fun, but you're even beating tennis world champions for that title of greatest female athlete?
Wait, how do I feel about it? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but I mean, I love Serena. I think she's awesome, and there were a lot of great women on that bracket, and I really appreciate everyone taking the time to vote for me and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's cool, but I'm gonna go beat Holly. Like, it stays in my mind for a second. I'm like, that's awesome, but it just kind of moves straight to the next thing, the next accomplishment that I can really control. An online poll is out of my hands, but beating Holly Holmes is definitely in my hands, and I'm gonna do it.
Holly, Chris Stubbs from Fox Sports here in Australia. We have a saying here that you might be common with, but it's like shooting Bambi. Is that how it feels to you going up against someone who is so universally popular?
Going into a fight like this are you asking how it feels?
Yeah, how it feels to beat
big
someone
underdog
who's so popular.
Absolutely. It's I really like to feel like, man, people are always thinking about life and how to maybe even just go on a simple vacation to experience something or get away from something or experience life. I mean, this is experiencing life. This is having something in front of me and a challenge in front of me that it just ignites me. It gives me a lot of drive, and it just I'm just so excited to be part of it, and it just makes me want to just train so hard and really show everybody what I'm truly made of.
Valerie, down here. Valerie, hi. This is an enormous challenge for you. How enormous is it?
She's the biggest challenge, definitely, of my career. But I mean, I've been in martial arts since so long. I've been working so hard. That's the best opportunity I would ever have, and I won't miss my chance. That's for sure.
Ronda Angela Pipos, The New Daily. Women athletes around the world face a constant battle for respect, recognition and equal pay. What advice would you give other sportswomen fighting for equality?
I think just to do whatever we can to take the word woman out of it. I don't hear everyone saying men's this, men's that, the men's press conference. People aren't here today because they love women, it's because they love fighters. We're fighters. It's not the women's UFC bantamweight. It's not the women's UFC strawweight. I'm the bantamweight champion. She's the strawweight champion. And these people are here because they love fights. And that's what I'm really happy to see happening, is that the fact that we're women is obvious. It's not a novelty anymore. It doesn't need to be said. It's just, yeah, we're women. And I really don't hear the mention of the guys being men so much, and hopefully it won't even be part of the conversation anymore.
Yeah, she made me take women's out of the, when Buffer announces it, it's not women's bantamweight championship anymore. It's just the bantamweight championship. So.
Dana, right here. So they open up the main card. You got Jared Rolsholt versus Stefan Struve. What's the thought process in not making our boy Jake Matthews open up the main card?
With the echo and that accent, man, I'm having a tough time with you.
I'll start again.
Fire that at me again.
What was the thought process behind not making Jake Matthews open up the main card as opposed to Jared Rosholt versus Stefan Struve?
Why didn't I put him in place of that? I have no idea. Is that your question for me, seriously?
Yeah, just wondering. He's
what,
a
are you
local
trying
boy.
to start shit with me and him or something?
No, not at all. It's just a general question.
I have no idea why I went there. Ask Joe Silva that question.
Okay.
Troublemaker. This is like the Australian Ariel Hawani right here, right?
Joanna, you're fighting Valerie Letourneau, who's primarily a striker. Are you confident going into this fight, knowing that you're facing a striker for the first time in the UFC?
What I can say, I'm a champion and I'm one of the best. And I'm gonna bring some new, some different stuff into the fight on UFC 193, so be here.
Ronda, Lauren down here from the Herald Sun again. Just another quick one about Angela's question on equality just before. We've got quite a large pay dispute happening with our Australian women's soccer team at the moment. Is it frustrating for you as someone who's so prominent in your sport, and we heard you say on the Ellen show the other day you are the richest fighter in UFC, that sort of thing is still going on?
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dina and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice for the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money. And I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
Hey guys, Casper from Submission Radio. First question for Joanna Jedrzejczyk. You've obviously fought Carla Esparza, Jessica Penne. They're both very well established, both former champions. Where does Valerie rank in terms of your past opponents?
Like, I'm full of respect to Valerie, but all of them, they are on the same level. And it's the same gonna happen to her what happened to Carla and Jessica Penne.
Question for Ronda Rousey. People often look to the main event of UFC cards to depend on how successful it's going to be. Obviously, the UFC is going for the 70,000 or the new record. Is there pressure on you considering that you're captaining this card?
There's always pressure, but the more pressure, the better. And it's not just on all of us. I really think that this is a really stacked card. I mean, not just, you know, with the strawweight title, but I'm so excited to see Mark Hunt and Bigfoot Silva fight again. I think that was one of the greatest heavyweight fights of all time. The only thing that I'm pissed off about is I'm going to be focusing in my locker room and I won't be able to sit there and watch. Everybody else gets to see it. But no, I'm really excited about this card. Yeah, my name is on the top of it and the performance really falls onto me, but I am not alone in this at all. And I think that all of us together are going to sell this place out, and every single person here is going to be part of history that night.
Guys, I've got a question for Valerie. Your last fight against Marina Moroz, you were the underdog. You overcame that challenge. Safe to say that it'll be a similar situation against Joanna. In terms of striking, what do you think your advantages will be against Joanna?
I'm definitely the better striker that she fought in the UFC. There's no doubt about it. And my whole life I fought at 135, which is 2 weight division, bigger than 115. So I feel like I'm going to have a strength advantage, and I'm going to take her to a place she's never been before in the UFC.
One last question for Holly Holm. Holly, you're obviously a very, very decorated striker in the world of boxing and kickboxing. Chael Sonnen recently came out. His comments were that your boxing titles hold no validity, and I'm treading carefully here. He wanted a response from you. Any response to Chael?
Chael always wants to say something so he can get a response. But you know what? It isn't the same. So I'm making a whole new, the way I look at it, I'm climbing a whole new mountain. Boxing is completely different. I have no argument with it.
Thanks, guys.
She stole Chael's thunder there.
A couple of questions. First one for Valerie. You said you fought most of your life at 135. What's it like to cut weight for this in your training camp?
That's not fun. That's not fun, but I think I'm doing it better. I'm going to do better for my next fight. That's new to me to fight at 115, so it's an adjustment. But my biggest worry was to perform the night of the fight. I don't mind to suffer as much as I have to, as long as I can perform. And there's no doubt that I can go for 3 and 5 rounds, even cutting at 115.
Yeah. Also, a question for you and for everyone. Obviously, this is very unprecedented. 4 women sitting up there. This is a massive thing. As women, do you appreciate, or does it resonate with you, what this moment stands for? That's for you, Valerie, and everyone.
Yeah, that was for everybody, I think. No, that feels, it's so many dreams come true for me this year. Fighting for Tao, fighting in Australia, and fighting especially in that place with such a big crowd. And it seems like people respond very well right now for the UFC 193. So we are pretty excited about it.
And one last question for Ronda. Ronda, GSP holds the record for most title defenses, and then you got Anden and Silva. If you're going to beat that record, you've got another maybe couple of years. Do you intend on sticking around that long? Gina Carano went off into movies, and you're starting with movies now. How do you see it going?
You know, I just kind of play it by ear every single time after a fight. It's not about how many fights I have left or how much time I have left. It's how much actual fight time I have left. And so if me and Holly have a 5-round brawl, I'm not going to have as many fights left in me. And if I walk out completely unscathed, I'm going to have plenty of more. So it really depends. I'm really just thinking about beating Holly, and that's it. And I'm not really thinking about too far down the line. When it becomes more of an immediate goal, then it'll get more of my focus. But at this moment, she has all of my focus, and that's it. Is it a goal? I don't know, man. A couple years ago, I had no clue what I would be doing right now. You know, in a couple years, I mean, who knows? I've learned to kind of keep an open mind. Yeah, I could be breaking the record for title defenses in a few years, or I could just, you know, be making babies. Who knows? I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know.
Oh, hi guys. Michael Lynch here from BeyondTheGame.tv. Sorry about my accent, first of all. And just a quick question, something you touched on earlier, Dana. Ronda, what's it like being such an inspiration to young girls and women who want to get involved in not only MMA, but in sport in general?
I think your accent's kind of nice, just saying.
Oh, thanks.
How does it feel? I don't know. I try not to really think about it too much. I try to do the best I can, and that's the best I could do. I'm a really flawed person. I make mistakes all the time, and I can't expect people to replicate those as well. I mean, if I can play that role, then I'm happy to, but I'm not going to go and pronounce myself some great inspiration and walk around like that. I'm just trying my best.
And just a quick one more. I've never seen this many people at a press conference. How does it feel seeing so many fans here in Australia?
Is that for me? Well, it's extremely encouraging. If this is just a taste of what we're going to get when we show up and fight, I mean, I'm already so impressed with Australia and all the Aussies and everything. I mean, I absolutely love this place. I wish, you know, I probably am going to stay after I fight and just hang out here for a while because it is amazing. And I really appreciate you guys all coming out when it's cold and lining up all day and coming and seeing us just to talk today. But you know what? When it comes to the time when we're coming here to fight, it's going to be a great night for all of us. And I really appreciate you guys having faith, and I promise it's going to be worth all of your time.
Yeah, for Joanna. I'm curious about your thoughts about being put on as the co-main event under Ronda Rousey here as the other female title fight here. Just your thoughts on settling in as the co-main event.
Yeah, like I said before, I'm very happy to fight on the same card with Ronda. I'm happy to fight in Australia. I had main event fight in Berlin. It was my first title defense on the end of June. So I'm very happy that I have come event fight on UFC 193.
Dana, as good as the original headline fight would have been between Robbie, Lawler and Carlos Condit, do you think the addition of Ronda will help sell out this stadium, given her popularity among even non-MMA fans?
Yeah, Robbie Lawler just came off one of the greatest fights anybody's ever seen in their life. It was unbelievable, the McDonald fight. And a lot of people were really excited about the Carlos Condit Robbie Lawler fight. So when that fight fell off, I knew we had to come back guns a-blazing. So I called her and she accepted the fight. And this card is the card that would have happened in Vegas in January. So we moved that card here, and you know, it was the thing to do when that fight fell out. So.
Dana, Nick Diaz just got suspended 5 years for weed.
Yeah.
I saw you weren't too happy about it on Twitter. What were your overall thoughts on it, Nick Diaz getting suspended, for people who didn't see your tweet?
I know it's something about Nick Diaz. So I don't know enough about the Nick Diaz situation. That happened while we were here, so I don't really know enough about it. You know, I get home, I'll get back into the office on Friday and figure out what's going on with that thing. Yeah, but the answer is, seems a little rough. Seems a little rough. So I got to get back there and see exactly what the details are and what's going on. I would imagine if they suspended him for 5 years and $150,000, it's more than just the marijuana. That just doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Joanna, Dennis here from Submission Radio. Just wanted to get your thoughts on Valerie's performance against Marina Moroz in her last fight. What did you think of her skills? What did you think of her performance?
I was super happy that she beat Marina Moroz because she had really big mouth on UFC fight night in Krakow. So she called me and she wants to fight me, but Valerie did a great job with Marina Moroz. She almost knocked her out in the first round. So she did well, and she deserved to fight for a title.
Dana, over here. Two quick questions. Number one, you announced TJ Dillashaw and Dominic Cruz.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that fight coming up? Cruz coming up to knee reconstruction.
Cruz looked awesome in his return, then gets injured again. You know, as long as that kid can stay healthy, I'm really excited for that fight. Should be a great fight. Yep. Really looking forward to it. Hopefully he stays healthy.
Yep. And what can you tell us about Fedor? Are there negotiations currently going with the UFC? Where are they, etc., etc.?
There's nothing to tell you. If there was, I'd tell you. I mean, there's, the Fedor thing has been a mystery for a very long time. You know, we've obviously talked to them. I don't know what they're doing right now or what their plans are.
Okay, and one final question. Is there any truth to the tweets that were tweeted as to why Miesha Tate is not fighting Ronda? Because of Brian Caraway?
No. Why would she not get a fight because of Brian Caraway?
I don't think so.
Stay off the internet, man. Stay off the internet.
All right.
Hi, Ronda. Silvio Morelli from Fight Magazine. Ronda, you had a pretty low point in your life years ago where you were literally training and living out of your car, I believe. Can you sort of give us a bit of an insight into what was happening and what was the thing that got you through and onto your career in MMA and obviously the entertainment industry?
Well, what was going on was, I think, a result of the unfair treatment of U.S. Olympians, which really pales in comparison to how unfair it is that Nick got 5-year suspension. I'm sorry, no one asked me anything, but I have to say something. It's so not right for him to be suspended 5 years for marijuana. I'm against for them even testing for weed at all. It's not a performance-enhancing drug. It has nothing to do with athletic competition. It's only tested for political reasons. They say, oh, it's only for your safety to keep you from hurting yourself because you're out there. You know what, then why don't they test for all of the other things that could possibly hurt us that we could be under the influence of while we're out there? There's no reason for them to be testing for weed. In athletics, the beautiful thing about it is it separates everything from politics. It shouldn't be involved at all. And Nick is a really close and dear friend of mine, so of course I'm going to defend him. But I see it's so unfair if one person tests for steroids that could actually really hurt a person, and the other person smokes a plant that makes them happy, and he gets suspended for 5 years. Whereas the guy that could have hurt someone so much that he could have died in there gets a slap on the wrist. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. And you know what? Like, it doesn't make me a bad person for saying it. It just, I can't believe it's not being said more. And yeah, I think they really should free Nick Diaz. But you know what? It's not Dana's decision either. You can't get mad at him. He had nothing to do with it. Yeah, I'm sure if he had the choice, I'm not going to speak for him, he would have given him a lot less. But you know what? I don't think that marijuana should be part of the conversation at all. I think it's an invasion of privacy for them to test for it, and they have no right.
Boom. Huh? Yeah. Ready? All right. We're gonna ask some fan questions now.